just off the wall, making no damn sense, and they're not submitting to the facts. So we gonna do that on this channel. I don't care how boring it is. I don't care if this video gets like 50 views. I at least need to be responsible enough to read the facts and let it be. Let the chips fall where they may. All right, so we all can agree that when natural disasters happen, such as hurricane, earthquakes, fires, situations like that, don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Green Party, it doesn't care. For the most part, it's going to destroy people's lives, destroy people's just foundation, their life, everything. Tons of people, hundreds of people are going to be displaced, killed, and I have never experienced that, but I can't only imagine what difficulties people are going through when situations like that happen. And when you're in the midst of things like that, I would be pretty sure, I can bet my last dollar that people who are in the midst of those horrific situations, they don't care about elections. They don't care about Donald Trump. They don't care about Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. They don't care. They just lost their friends, their loved ones, their house, their community, where they grew up at, what they poured their money into, their businesses, their land. It is now destroyed. They don't care. You ask them about immigrants or trans people, they don't care. They're probably gonna hit you. I will hit you in your face if you run up on me and I done lost everything and you want to ask me some dumb questions. We gonna be fighting heads on sight. Like I can only imagine. I don't want to hear anything about that. But unfortunately, we live in a society where photo ops and just trying to always up your opponent, no matter what the catastrophe is. And yes, we're talking about Florida with the hurricane Helene. From what I seen in reporting, over 200 plus people have died. Hundreds of other people are still missing. Just millions of dollars of damage in this area. And we have a president or former president, Donald Trump, who sees this opportunity to try to stick it to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And my first thought is, this is such an easy way to at least pretend. You don't even have to genuinely feel this way. This is what we would call a layup moment, where it's easy. It's just you in the bucket and the ball. All you got to do is just lay that sucker up. There's no one defending you. There's no obstacles. This is easy points to be a unifier. Like I said, you don't even have to for real feel like that, but even a strategic opportunity, be a unifier, because then you have that to fall on and say, hey, during this time of desperation, no one cares about politics. This is happening to Americans, and I'm not the president currently, but I want to send, my support. I want to force Joe Biden to make sure he's doing all that he can for these people who are in need in Florida, and blah, 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 and just pretend to be a unifier. But he failed at that. He failed at the basic mechanics of a politician, and that's to at least unify when times like this is in need of a unifier. And he failed at that. Like, how self-centered do you have to be to try to make this about you versus them? And it's based on lies. So, I mean, that's makes it even worse. It's based on lies. And now you're trying to take away the attention on you versus Joe Biden. Like, let's go ahead and hear one of my favorite people, D.L. Hughley, speaking on this. And I mean, he says it better than I can. Let's take a listen.
So doctors, of course, are famously required to take the Hippocratic Oath, the basis of which do no harm. I think politicians should have to do the same thing. I think that there are times when a nation should come together. There are times that should be unassailable, that we can be united during these times. I think that when people in this nation are going through the things they're going through in North Carolina and Georgia and other parts of the South that were hit by that hurricane, I think that it's incumbent on us to not only have prayers for them, but to actively work to make sure that our brethren are taken care of. And I think it is really incumbent on our political leaders to do so. Trump inserted himself in Georgia. He and also derided the administration for not being there. This is not about who gets there first. You got there first, but did you come with any aid? Is there any money? Is there anything you can do besides grandstand and make things work? They are actively...
Answer that question. If you disagree with anything that I've already said or will be saying in this video, answer this question down below in the comments. What is Trump doing for the benefit of the people in Florida who is in this desperate time of need? What is Trump providing for them with taking the attention off of them and putting the spotlight on himself versus Joe Biden? Like substantive help, not just like, oh, he's, exposed. Like, people, like I said, people do not care about conspiracies. They don't care where the money's coming from, how the money's coming from. They just need immediate help. How is Trump immediately helping them? And he's not president, so it's like it's not like he can do much. But with him sucking all the attention to himself, how is that helping anybody? Does that make that person a good leader if he doesn't know how to stop being so self-centered and learn how to be a servant to others? And honestly, you don't have to be president to do that. With all the money and the resources I'm assuming he has, he can do a lot more than myself. So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Actively looking for their citizens who are lost. Up to 100 people or more and counting have lost lives. There are search and rescue missions. People are trying to find loved ones. And if you can't add anything, if you can't contribute to the safety and well-being of that community, stay out. Several governors, at least two governors have said that what you're saying is not true. That they have been getting help from the federal administration. It is responsible leadership to say, we're not going to make it. You know what kind of logistical nightmare it is to have a president visit a place with all the Secret Service and the clearance and all the things they have to do to get ready for a visit? And these communities are being overrun with requests and people are trying to get water and food and find loved ones. Why? I think that there's certain times it's incumbent on all of us to decide that these is a daytime. We should not be arguing right now until these situations get together.
Exactly.
For a man who wants to be president, who can't even lead when the nation needs him to, can't even pretend to be a leader, but goes there as a political stunt and tries to make things worse, I don't know how you call that a leader. A leader should make things better, at least for the time when the nation is going through trauma. It is traumatic. These these inclement weather events have done destruction of property. There are communities that got to be rebuilt. There are people that are lost. This is a time where a country needs a leader, not a guy who's grandstanding, not a guy who was 5 minutes ago hawking gold watches and now he's there saying, why isn't everybody else there? What difference did it make if you got there first, if you can't do anything for those people, not even have a prayer?
Bars.
Not even pray.
Bars.
You can't come with federal aid. You're not the president. You can't come with money. You're not the president. You didn't even get your political cronies together to look like you were going to come with anything other than recrimination. I think just like doctors and healthcare workers and mental health professionals need to be careful about the way they do things, that there are things that they're politically or professionally required to do. I think our political leaders need to make sure that when things are bad, you shouldn't go there to make them worse. It shouldn't be a photo op. If you
That's pretty simple. I mean, you don't have to be, once again, you don't have to be the smartest, most intellectual, the most strategic person to understand something so simple, so basic as sometimes you just need to shut up. People need help, and you making everything about yourself does not help. But once again, like, this channel is built to at least try to submit as much facts as possible. I know it's been a lot of, once again, conspiracy theories in regards to what FEMA is doing, what they're not doing, what they can do. Let me set this up here. Bada boom, bada bang. Let me make sure you guys can see this here. And I've been seeing so many videos, and honestly, it's like, I don't care about the political pundits trying to defend their side, because you have Democrats who are just there to protect Joe Biden. And you know, some of them are letting you know some of the facts, but then of course you have Republican pundits who are just off the wall, making no damn sense, and they're not submitting to the facts. So we gonna do that on this channel. I don't care how boring it is. I don't care if this video gets like 50 views. I at least need to be responsible enough to read the facts and let it be. Let the chips fall where they may. But let's go ahead and just read some of this article here. I kind of highlighted some areas because I'm not gonna read this whole thing, because you guys can read. I'm pretty sure you guys can read this for yourself, so you can be knowledgeable of some of the basic facts here. But once again, it's kind of sad that FEMA has to fact check individuals in regards to the situation. So fact checking falsehoods about FEMA funding and Hurricane Helene. This was today. So it says rumors, misinformation, and lies about the federal government's response to Hurricane Helene in the southern eastern United States have run rampant since the storm made landfall, especially around funding for the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. The claims have become so widespread that FEMA set up a response page to debunk many falsehoods around the disaster funding works and what the agency response has been. As of Sunday, FEMA has says it has provided more than $137 million in assistance to 6 states in the Southeast, including 7,000 federal personnel, nearly 15 million meals, 14 million liters of water, 157 generators, and more than 500,000 tarps. So once again, go look up what FEMA provides. I think some people have the misconception, especially with all the misinformation, that FEMA is like there to give people hundreds of thousands of dollars, or to make people whole, which would take billions of dollars. Like, that's not what FEMA is built to do. They don't have just millions to give every individual hundreds of thousands of dollars, or to make them whole of whatever they have lost during this hurricane. They're supposed to work with the federal and local governments in that area to assist with, you know, which we're about to read, to assist the local government in what's needed. They're not there to just give people hundreds of thousands of dollars and say, hey, now go live your life. That's, unfortunately, that's not what they're built to do. But let's go ahead and go to their page, to where they had to build a fact-checking website. You know society has done lost their mind when FEMA has to build a website just to debunk misinformation. Once again, go to this page so you can read it yourself. Hopefully I can remember to link these in the description, but I have a bad memory. So I highlighted some areas because we're not going to read this whole entire article. It says, rumor that FAA is restricting access to airspace for Helene rescue and recovery operations. I've seen some videos where people are conspiracizing, which I don't know if that's a word, but about the whole airport thing. And once again, it's like pointless conversation, but for some reason it's in the conversation. They said facts. The FAA is not restricting access for recovery operations. The FAA is coordinating closely with the state and local officials to make sure everyone is operating safely in very crowded and congested airspaces. So once again, if you need that information, if you're so caught up down a rabbit hole to where you think all this is being set up purposely to not help people, you're probably an idiot. Rumor, FEMA distributes aid based on demographic characteristics. Facts, FEMA provides assistance to survivors regardless of race, color, national origin, sex, sexual orientation, religion, age, disability, English proficiency, or economic status. That should be a no-brainer, right? But once again, if they have to put this on a website, someone's asking these stupid questions. Rumor, FEMA does not have enough money to provide disaster assistance for Helene. Fact, FEMA has enough money right now for the immediate response and recovery needs. If you were affected by Helene, do not hesitate to apply for disaster assistance as there is a variety of help available for different needs. So once again, money is not going to provide everything you need immediately. Sometimes you need food, you need water, you need some sort of structure to keep you safe from the elements, and that's what they also provide. You can't eat money. I mean, you can, maybe with some hot sauce and some maybe salt, but it won't be good. I could just imagine it's not going to be tasty. So, rumor, funding for FEMA disaster response was diverted to support international efforts or border-related issue. Now, this, once again, why does everything have to use immigrants as a scapegoat or use immigrants in a marginalizing way to make them the bad guy or the boogeyman? Well, let me tell you why, because if you've been watching this channel long enough, you already know what the answer is. The answer is because people are stupid enough to believe that immigrants are always the issue to their problems, but not the entire government system, Republican and Democrats. It's the whole government's fault for a lot of these basic conditions that people live in. It's not the immigrants. Oh my God, man. But they say facts. This is false. No money is being diverted from disaster response needs. FEMA's disaster response efforts and individual assistance is funded through the disaster relief funds, which is dedicated funds for disaster efforts. Obviously, disaster relief funds money has not been diverted to other non-disaster related efforts. But of course, you're going to have idiots who are just like, well, I heard some smart person like Candace Owens say, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, if you can't take their words from it, then believe whatever you want to believe. Believe that the spaghetti gods is causing all of this. Like, if you can't trust sources that is not political based, FEMA is not a Democratic entity or a Republican entity. If you can't trust that, then there's no point in talking to you. So, I mean, that's pretty simple. Let's see. Says they're offering them $750 to people whose homes have been washed away, Trump said Saturday at a rally. And yet we send tens of billions of dollars to foreign countries that most people have never heard of, which, I mean, if you went to public school, it's a good chance you've heard of Russia, you heard of Ukraine, you've heard of Israel. So it's like, okay, maybe your fans have. They're offering them $750. They've been destroyed. These people have been destroyed. $750 Trump refers to is what's called serious needs assistance, which in the name itself is pretty self-explanatory, but some people are a little slow. An initial direct relief payment intended to help cover emergency supplies like food, water, baby formula, and other basic needs, maybe. The serious needs assistance is one of many changes to FEMA's individual assistance programs that took effect earlier this year, along with displacement assistance to cover immediate housing needs while residents sort out long-term options. FEMA assistance also covers storm-related damages to homes and personal property. If you click the hyperlink here, it'll take you to write what the definition is. You don't have to believe Trump. You don't have to believe Kamala Harris. You don't have to believe Joe Biden. Read it for yourself of what this is supposed to do. And like I said, FEMA doesn't have the capacity to give people hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're not built like that. I think I close it out. They don't even have that kind of money. Freaking Elon Musk has more money than FEMA does. So it's like what they're offering people is immediate assistance, and that money is to right away get the essential things you need. It's not to buy a house or buy land or like make you whole. Like, we need to use critical thinking skills to be like, oh, it's literally called serious needs assistance. It's not called this is to make you whole assistance. Like I told you, FEMA is supposed to work along with the local government and the federal government to assist you with that. And that can look in so many different ways to make a person complete. Like I say, businesses, homes, vehicles, just work opportunities. It's a wide variety of things that people need to be made whole. And it's ridiculous if you think one entity like FEMA is supposed to help hundreds of people. But you guys don't hear me though. Oh my God. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have some idiots in my comment section like, I don't know, well, FEMA technically is working for the Illuminati because Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro told me that, the Jews are in charge of FEMA and they're gonna kidnap it. Like, bro, shut up. Once again, if that's all that you have to go by is conspiracy theories that is not backed by any supporting facts, leave me alone, because you are a worthless human being, and I don't want to waste my time or breath or efforts talking with people like that. But once again, the information is out there. I had to read it to some of these people because they're children and they're not going to look up this information themselves. But like always, if you think anything that I said was incorrect or not based on like their actual mission statement in regards to how they immediately assist people, let me know in the comments down below. And like always, let's have that conversation.